All right, we're going to graph linear equations in slope-intercept form. Our vocabulary, x-intercept, the x-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. It occurs when y equals 0. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. It occurs when x equals 0. So we have the drawing over here where it has 0b, y-intercept is the b. Then a is 0, the x-intercept is a. Last vocabulary word, slope-intercept form. A linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b. The slope of the line m and the y-intercept of the line is b. So example 1, identifying slopes and y-intercepts. We're going to find the slope and y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. You may have started to notice that I have EQNS and EQN. That's just shorthand for equations or equation. All right, so letter A. We're going to go with the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, which is b. We're talking about it in the form of slope-intercept form, which was written up here, y equals mx plus b. That's the reason why I'm putting slope as m, the y-intercept is b. So our slope, let's match this up. Y equals mx plus b. M is the -4. And our b, well, it's supposed to be plus b, so if I add the opposite, ooh, that gives me a -2. When you were done watching this video, I want you guys to go ahead and click onto the next YouTube link for the very catchy song of slope-intercept form. I hope that you guys share it with your family because it was a real catchy tune. All right, so letter B. Y minus 5 equals 3 halves x. Ooh, that does not say y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to isolate my y. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Y equals 3 halves x plus 5. I have to rewrite it up here so that way I can write y equals mx plus b below it. All right, so that means that my slope, so m is 3 halves, and my y-intercept is 5. Now you'll notice this time I wrote slope as m and my y-intercept is b. I still want you to write some kind of thing signifying what is your slope and what is your y-intercept. All right, feel free to try the next two on your own and then come back, find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. All right, so y equals 3x minus 7. Your slope, well, let me make that plus b. Your slope equals 3. Your y-intercept equals -7. You can still write out the word slope. You can always write that out if you prefer. Completely up to you, but you can also put that m is slope and b is the y-intercept. All right, for letter D, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Y equals -2/3 x plus 1. So I'm going to write that back over here so that way I can put my slope-intercept form below it. So y equals mx plus b. My m is a -2/3 and my b is a 1. All right, fabulous. We get the next board up for example 2. Graphing a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So we're going to graph y equals -3x plus 1, and we're going to identify the y-intercept. So step 1, find the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope equals -3. The y-intercept equals 3. In this case, it's going to be 0, 3. Technically, anytime we're talking about the y-intercept, it's always an ordered pair. All right, for step number 2, we have plot the y-intercept. I also put INT for intercept. Feel free to write the word intercept out every time. It's just a little shorthand that you're more than welcome to do. So I'm going to plot 0, 3, which is right there. Okay, step number 3, we're going to use the slope to find 2 other points and draw the line. Okay, well my slope is a -3 and it's rise divided by run. So I'm actually going to put it as -3 divided by 1. So the rise means I go down 3, the run means I go to the right 1. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. It's really good to have 3 points rather than just 2, just because then you can really confirm that you've done it correctly. And then the last step, I guess you could say, is labeling your graph. But that should be a habit that you guys are into, or getting into. So y equals -3x plus 3. There's the graph. The last thing that we need to do is identify our x-intercept. So this is your x-intercept right there. It's where the line passes the x-axis, which in this case is going to be 1, 0. So that's your x-intercept. All right, feel free to pause, try F and G, then come back. All right, so step 1, find the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope is 1 divided by 1. So that means we'll go up 1 to the right 1. And then our B is going to be, well, I had the opposite, 0, -4. So I put it as an ordered pair. So that way I can go 0, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. You could keep doing this till your heart's desire, but really 3 points is enough. And lastly, I'm going to label that y equals x minus 4. All right, perfect. Then letter G, our slope equals 1 divided by 1. Our y-intercept is going to be 0, 1. So I'm going to go to 0, 1. I'm going to go to the right 1, up 1, to the right 1, up 1, to the right 1, up 1. And then I'm going to graph my point. I'm going to connect you with my line. And then I'm going to write y equals x plus 1. Now one thing that I want to point out, let's say that you have a graph and you run out of space and you can't go right 1, up 1. Up 1 to the right 1. Well, then you could do the opposite, going down, left 1, down 1. Left 1, down 1. They should all still hit on the graph. All right, example 3, real life application. The cost y in dollars of taking a taxi x miles is y equals 2 5/10 x plus 2. We're going to graph the equation, and then we're going to interpret. Again, here's that word interpret. Really key. The y-intercept and the slope. So to graph the equation, step 1, we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is 2 5/10, and the y-intercept is 0, 2. So I'm going to go and plot 0, 2. Then my slope tells me to go 2.5 over 1, which actually I'm going to change this into a fraction. So this is going to be 2 5/10, which is actually 2 1/2, which is 5 halves. So it means I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 1, 2. Okay. Now, if you're going to do it that way, you can see that I ran out of space. I won't be able to put in another point, but that's okay. You could have gone up 1, 2.5 to the right 1. That would have been okay as well. Up 2.5 to the right 1. Still would have resulted, oops, put that one a little high. Would have resulted in having the same line. All right, so we graphed the equation. Now we need to interpret the y-intercept and the slope. So the slope is 2.5. This means the cost per mile is $2.50. So it's $2.50 per mile. One thing that I forgot to point out, I added in distance in miles, cost in dollars to my graph along with labeling it. You guys are going to need to make sure you put that in there as well. Then we have the y-intercept is 2. So there is an initial fee of $2 to take the taxi. So as soon as you get into that taxi, that means that you have to, no matter how far you go, pay at least that $2 fee, and it's $2.50 per additional mile after that. Very great job.